You might not believe this, but there are actually certain foods and drinks, with things you may already have at home, that can protect and even begin to repair aging eyes while you sleep. And that matters deeply. Because millions of older adults around the world are silently suffering from something far more serious than just blurry vision. We're talking about eyes that sting when you read, eyes that strain under the glare of headlights at night, eyes that see dark spots, halos, or hazy patches, making it harder to recognize faces, enjoy a sunset, or even cross a busy street. I've met people who were once independent, confident drivers who now avoid going out at night because they feel unsafe. Others tell me they can't read the paper without a magnifier, or they've given up reading altogether. And many say something that truly breaks my heart. I'm scared, because I feel like I'm slowly going blind. Does that sound familiar? If so, I want you to know you're not imagining it, and you're certainly not alone. What you're experiencing isn't just aging. It's often the result of years of micronutrient depletion, poor circulation to the retina, and chronic low-grade inflammation, quietly damaging the delicate tissues inside your eyes. The worst part? Most of it happens while you sleep. That's right. The very hours when your body is supposed to repair and restore are often when your eyes get no real support. But here's the good news. There's a way to change that. A natural way. No prescriptions, no procedures, no expensive eye drops. Something so simple, so overlooked, yet scientifically powerful. It's something you can begin tonight. And in just a few minutes, I'll show you exactly what it is. But first, if this is your first time here, and you value clear, honest health advice designed for seniors like you, feel free to tap the subscribe button. You deserve to be informed, supported, and empowered every step of the way. Now, let's take a closer look at what's really going on inside your eyes after 60 so you can begin to take them back. If there's one nut that's been quietly fighting for your eyesight and your brain without getting the credit it deserves, it's the walnut. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Walnuts? Really? Don't those just lower cholesterol? They do, but that's just the beginning. You see, walnuts are one of the richest plant sources of omega-3 fatty acids, specifically a type called alpha-linolenic acid, or ALA. Now, I won't drown you in biochemistry, but here's what you need to know. Your eyes don't exist in isolation. They're an extension of your nervous system, connected directly to your brain by the optic nerve. And both your brain and your eyes are heavily dependent on healthy fats, especially omega-3 seconds, to function properly. But here's the problem. As we age, especially after 60, we tend to lose that healthy fat balance. We absorb fewer nutrients. Blood flow to the brain and retina slows down. And the communication between eye and brain, what we call visual processing, begins to lag. That's when you start noticing things like slower reaction to light changes, trouble seeing details in low light, or that uncomfortable feeling that your eyes are working harder just to keep up. Walnuts step in here as quiet heroes. ALA in walnuts helps to increase blood flow to the retina and optic nerve. It also protects nerve fibers from oxidative stress and reduces inflammation that can impair visual signals. In a way, it's like giving your visual system a long overdue oil change. And there's something else most people don't realize. Walnuts don't just support the structure of the eye. They also help with something deeply emotional: mental clarity and focus, two things that often fade along with vision in our later years. I remember one patient, her name was June. She was 72, still sharp, still full of life. But she'd stopped painting, which had been her lifelong joy. She told me, "Dr. Porter, it's not just that I can't see the colors well anymore. I just feel foggy." We worked on a simple evening routine for her. Nothing extreme, just smart nutrition with the right kind of fats. 3 weeks later, she walked in with a painting under her arm. It was a simple vase of sunflowers, but the colors were vibrant, and so was her smile. "I feel like my eyes woke up," she said. That's the kind of difference something as humble as a walnut can make when given the right chance. And we're just getting started. There's another nut coming up smaller, greener, and even more potent when it comes to protecting the back of your eyes from the damage of aging and artificial light. Let's take a closer look. If walnuts are the quiet supporters of the brain-eye connection, then pistachios are like the bodyguards of your retina. Now, you might not expect that from such a small green nut, but behind their subtle crunch and mild flavor, pistachios are packed with two compounds your eyes absolutely love, lutein and zeaxanthin. You may have heard those names before, but let me explain why they matter. Your retina, especially the macula, the tiny spot responsible for sharp central vision, is under constant attack. Not from anything dramatic, but from daily exposure to blue light. That includes sunlight, yes, but also screens, TVs, phones, tablets. Even if you don't stare at a screen all day, your eyes are still absorbing that light, and over time, it wears down the tissues meant to help you see clearly. That's where lutein and zeaxanthin come in. These are carotenoids, or plant pigments, that act like internal sunglasses. They filter out the most harmful wavelengths of blue light before they reach and damage your macula. What's remarkable is that your body can't make these compounds on its own. You have to get them through food. And pistachios are one of the very few nuts that naturally contain both lutein and zeaxanthin, along with healthy fats that help your body absorb them better. When these nutrients are present in good amounts, they help reduce glare sensitivity, improve contrast detection, and even slow the progression of age-related macular degeneration, the leading cause of vision loss in people over 60. I once spoke with a man named Harold. He was 68 and had recently noticed that everything looked dimmer, almost like someone had put a filter over his vision. He'd stopped driving at night because the headlights from oncoming cars felt too blinding. He told me, "It's like my eyes can't adjust anymore. Everything just feels too harsh." We made a few subtle shifts in his diet, including a small evening portion of pistachios, combined with other targeted nutrients. Nothing fancy, no supplements, just real food. 2 months later, he called me. He said, "Doc, I'm back behind the wheel, and for the first time in a while, I'm not afraid of the dark." That's the power of protecting your retina from the inside out. The truth is, most people don't think of their eyes as needing defense, but they do, constantly, especially as we age. And pistachios, with their vibrant green color and rich nutrient profile, offer that defense in one of the most convenient ways possible. But they're not the only ones. There's a nut that comes from deep within the Amazon, and although it's larger and less common on grocery shelves, it may be one of the most powerful anti-inflammatory tools for aging eyes. Let's explore that next. Have you ever woken up with red, irritated eyes, or felt that burning sensation in the afternoon, like your eyes are dry, tired, and begging for rest, even when you've barely done anything? For many older adults, these symptoms aren't just occasional. They become daily companions, silent reminders that the eyes, just like the rest of the body, are inflamed and exhausted. And while we often reach for eye drops or cold compresses, the real healing often has to start much deeper. This is where Brazil nuts come in, perhaps one of the most underestimated nuts in the world of eye health. Unlike other nuts that are praised for their fats or antioxidants, Brazil nuts are known for one extraordinary thing: selenium. Selenium is a trace mineral, meaning your body only needs a small amount, but its impact is huge, especially when it comes to reducing inflammation and oxidative stress. In the eyes, chronic inflammation is one of the biggest culprits behind problems like dry eye syndrome, blurry vision, and even early cataract formation. Selenium acts like a firefighter in the bloodstream, helping to extinguish these invisible flames before they cause lasting damage to the retina, lens, and cornea. But that's not all. Selenium also helps recycle and reactivate vitamin E, a critical antioxidant that protects the fatty tissues of your eye from breaking down under stress. In simpler terms, it keeps the fragile parts of your eye from becoming brittle and damaged over time. And here's the thing. Most people are low in selenium and don't even know it. In fact, I've reviewed lab panels for dozens of patients in their 60 seconds and 70 seconds who had symptoms of chronic eye strain or cloudiness, and almost every time, selenium was borderline or deficient. One of them was a retired school teacher named Walter. He was 74 and still mentally sharp, but his eyes were constantly irritated. He told me he had to carry artificial tears everywhere, and even then, his vision often looked like he was peering through fogged-up glass. When we looked at his diet, it was clear he wasn't getting much selenium at all. So we added just one Brazil nut a day. Yes, just one, and combined it with better hydration and a few evening changes. A month later, he said something I'll never forget. "My eyes feel quiet again." That's the beauty of giving your body what it actually needs. You don't always need more, you just need the right kind of support. And with Brazil nuts, a little truly goes a long way. Up next, we'll look at one more nut smaller, rounder, and rich in a vitamin that often gets ignored, but might be the secret to keeping your eyes moisturized and your vision crisp well into your later years. Let's talk about it. By the time we reach our 60 seconds and 70 seconds, something begins to quietly fade from our eyes, and it's not just clarity. It's moisture. It's resilience. And most importantly, it's collagen. Collagen isn't just for skin. It forms the very scaffolding of your eyes, supporting the cornea, the lens, and even the tiny blood vessels that keep your eyes nourished. As collagen breaks down, your eyes begin to lose their shape, their flexibility, and their ability to stay hydrated and protected. That's when dry eyes become more than a nuisance. You may notice that your eyes feel scratchy when you wake up, that your vision gets blurrier after reading, or that your eyes take longer to adjust when you move from light to dark. One of the key nutrients that helps preserve this collagen structure, yet often gets overlooked, is vitamin E. And hazelnuts? They're one of the best natural sources of it. Vitamin E is a fat-soluble antioxidant, meaning it works best when it's delivered with healthy fats, just like the kind found in hazelnuts themselves. This antioxidant protects the delicate membranes around the eye from oxidative stress, helping to lock in moisture and shield the eye's surface from damage. It also slows down the breakdown of collagen, especially in the connective tissues that keep your eye firm and focused. I remember one woman named Lydia. She was 69 and came to me frustrated because her eyes watered constantly. At first glance, it seemed like her eyes were over-lubricating, but in reality, they were chronically dry. Her body was trying to compensate. She said, "It's embarrassing, Dr. Porter. People think I'm crying all the time, but I'm not. I just can't see straight without tearing up." We talked through her routines and made just a few adjustments, including a small handful of hazelnuts before bed, combined with other vision-supporting foods. No medications, no synthetic tears, just nourishment. When she came back a month later, her eyes were no longer red. The tearing had stopped, and she said something simple but powerful. "I can look people in the eyes again without worrying." That's what happens when you give your eyes the support they're quietly asking for. Hazelnuts may be small, but their impact runs deep, helping preserve the structural integrity of your eyes in a world full of glare, dryness, and daily strain. And here's the best part. When combined with the right timing and a few evening habits, the nutrients in hazelnuts and the other 3 nuts we've explored can do something remarkable while you sleep. That's what we'll uncover next. By now, you've learned that 4 simple nuts, each with its own unique gift, can play a powerful role in protecting your eyesight. But here's the part that surprises most people. It's not just what you eat, it's when. You see, your eyes do most of their repair work not during the day, but at night. While you sleep, your body goes into restoration mode. Cells regenerate. Inflammation calms. Damaged tissues are quietly rebuilt. But here's the problem. If your body doesn't have the right tools to do the job, no matter how long you sleep, nothing meaningful happens. That's why eating the right kind of nourishment before bed can be such a game changer. Here's a simple evening routine I've shared with many of my patients. It takes less than 5 minutes and requires no cooking. About 1 hour before bedtime, prepare a small bowl with a few walnuts to support the brain-eye connection, a small handful of pistachios for retinal protection, 1 Brazil nut for anti-inflammatory selenium, and a few hazelnuts for collagen preservation and moisture. Not a large serving, just enough to gently nourish your eyes through the night. And here's something else. You can pair these nuts with a warm, unsweetened herbal tea like chamomile or lemon balm, which supports relaxation and better absorption of fat-soluble vitamins. Then, simply sit down. No screens, no noise. Let this become a ritual, not a task. Because rituals are more than routines. They're signals to your body and your soul that healing is not only possible, it's happening. Over time, many of my patients have told me the same thing. I'm waking up without the dry, gritty feeling. My eyes feel calmer, stronger. I'm not squinting as much when I read the morning paper. And they didn't do anything radical. They just gave their bodies what they were asking for, and they did it consistently. That's the secret no one tells you. It's not about doing more. It's about doing what matters at the right time. And this, right here, is something that matters. You don't need a special supplement. You don't need to spend hundreds on eye creams or blue light glasses. You just need to start where you are, with what you have. One handful, one evening, one small act of care at a time. In our final part, I'd like to leave you with something more than knowledge. A story and a reminder of what's still possible, no matter your age. A few months ago, I met a man named Richard. He was 76, a retired mechanic, and someone who used to pride himself on never missing a detail. But lately, he told me, things had changed. He couldn't make out street signs clearly. He stopped working on his old truck because the small parts all looked the same. And worst of all, he had trouble seeing the smile on his granddaughter's face during their evening video calls. I feel like my world is getting dimmer, he said. Not just his vision, his confidence, his sense of control. We didn't do anything fancy. No surgeries, no prescriptions. What we did do was begin a simple, consistent evening ritual, just like the one you've learned here. 3 weeks later, he called me, voice brighter than before. She waved at me through the screen, and I saw it. Her whole face, her dimples, her eyes. Then he added, almost in disbelief, I didn't realize how much I missed seeing clearly. Richard's story isn't rare. It's what happens when we stop accepting slow decline as our only option and start supporting our bodies the way they were designed to be supported. And you can do the same. Your age doesn't define your vision. Your past choices don't cancel out your future healing. It's not too late. Not when the tools for change are this simple, this gentle, and already within reach. One handful at night, one moment of care, one decision to believe in your body again. That's how healing begins. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I know you have many choices when it comes to your health, and I'm honored you've chosen to spend a few quiet minutes here with me. If this video gave you something valuable, I invite you to gently support our work by clicking the like button. Share this with a friend or loved one who might be struggling silently with their vision. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing so you don't miss the next insight, tip, or story that could change the way you age for the better. I'd also love to hear from you in the comments. Have you noticed changes in your vision lately? Have you tried any of these foods before? Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to read today. Until next time, this is Dr. James Porter, reminding you that every small act of care adds up, especially when it begins with your own eyes. Take good care tonight.